people are getting the comfort that we are actually learning as we are going, and it's not something new. Usually, as human beings, we are scared about that change or about something that is new. But as we speak, AI is not new anymore.
Our relationship with technology is evolving rapidly. As AI is changing businesses and reshape our world, what does the future hold?
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of AI Business Transformation. I'm Michael Coppola, and today we are here with Nicoleta Remmlinger, Director and Head of Business Development and Foremost. Welcome, Nicoleta.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Nicoleta, again, and really excited to dive into our conversation. I would really like to have a strong introduction about yourself and what is take you for your role at Foremost. That would be great. Thanks.
Absolutely. Yes, my name is Nicoleta Remmlinger. I am based in UAE, Dubai, and as of now, I serve as Director and Head of Business Development at Foremost UAE entity. Foremost is a credit risk consultancy company with headquarters in London, founded back in 2011, and we serve banks and regulators around the world. We started the expansion here in the Middle East back in 2020, just after pandemic, and as we speak, proud to say we are working with 12 financial institutions and the regulator itself across Middle East.
Great. So you have been working with different credit bureau across the world, but one thing that people don't realize how data and credit risk systems are actually shaping economy. If you want to give us a dive deep into this.
Yes, of course. Prior to joining Foremost back in November 2020, I used to work for a credit bureau provider solution. And with that engagement, I was part of around 10 credit bureau implementation around the world. Etihad Credit Bureau, that is the credit bureau that we have here in UAE, was the last engagement. And you are right. Not many people would really understand what it's a credit bureau and why that type of institution, being that private, government or federal, it's important at economy level. So let me give you just a bit of background of what is a credit bureau and actually what's the scope of a credit bureau. So the credit bureau, it's actually that type of organization that gathers credit information from all the players in a country, being that financial institution, banks, finance houses, any type of institution that it's unable to provide credit to individuals and to SMEs and corporate, so both retail and wholesale portfolios of the bank. Now, the main primary function of the credit bureau is to assure that the banks are disbursing that credit within the DBR. DBR means total debt burn ratio that it's established by the country. Here in UAE, this ratio is 50%. This means that the bank should not disburse more credit to a person or to an entity more than 50% of the income of that person, if we speak about individuals. So in the credit bureau, as the credit bureau is gathering data from all the banks in the market, the credit bureaus are creating what is called the credit report, that is literally listing each and every credit that you have in the market that could be with the same bank, with different banks. So if a third bank will inquire the credit bureau, will pull the credit report and the credit score, will already see what is your exposure with the market, if you are hitting that 50% or not. And of course, based on the credit score that the credit bureau is calculating, you will be able to get further credit or to increase your credit limit for a credit card and so on and so forth. Now, it's very important that the individuals or the SMEs are understanding even the process behind and why the credit bureau exists at first, why the banks are here in UAE, especially mandated by the central bank to pull a credit report and a credit score. And take that informed decision if to give further credit or not to the individual or to the SME. The data collection and the products that are then created by the credit bureau, of course, are based on the data that is gathered. And this is what I just nominated: credit report, credit score, and another product type that is called alerts. And providing this accurate information to the credit bureau enables actually all the players in the market to take that informed decision.
And how do you think AI is reshaping your industry and how companies are approaching the credit risk and decision making within the Middle East and Europe?
Yeah, of course, AI, I'm sure that you have seen it's very much adopted, and the government itself it's supportive of AI initiatives even in the financial institutions. AI is already used in departments such as customer experience, fraud analysis. Institutions are trying also to extend AI implementation or AI proof of concept in other areas such as risk management. Of course, it's not that straightforward because as for the central bank regulation, any decision that is taken has to be explained. So we know that today itself some of the AI outcomes are not fully transparent, and if that's the case, that the bank cannot use an AI model unless it's fully transparent. I would give you an example where AI actually is used in the credit space, and I think it will get more and more deployed in several institutions over here. It's actually using AI to interpret information very fast. So, for example, in a bank, there are a lot of policies, credit risk policies, risk appetite frameworks, and so on and so forth. So the stakeholder could use an AI tool to get a quick summary of what it's the policy saying, or if the stakeholder, being that the head of risk or the head of credit, has a specific question. In some of these documents we have certain metrics that are defined, such as 30% of something, right? So he might not remember his 30%, so he could just literally ask via AI implementation a question and get an answer without scrolling to a document that might be even 200 pages.
And how have you seen this implementation yourself into businesses?
Yes, so of course, as I told you, it's not straightforward because we need to explain these models, and the decision of approving or rejecting a credit has to be justified. Not justify only for the bank, but even the customer itself could ask why my personal loan has not been approved. And the bank needs to answer. Of course, there are certain limits because the bank will not disclose the internal model, but there has to be an explanation given internally and externally why the decision has been taken. So what we have seen is that actually the banks are trying to implement what we call challenger models. So in parallel with the traditional models that will take that decision of approving, not approving a credit, we are building AI models, being that creating synthetic data for a certain segment that we might not have enough data to develop the model, or any other type of segmentation that we need to create. AI models are created, and then what the banks usually are doing are running that application through both the traditional model, application scorecard, traditional model developed with traditional techniques, and then same application it's run through the AI model, and then the outcome it's compared. This AI model is kept for 1 year or 2 years, running in parallel with the traditional model, till we can say that, okay, the AI model is actually taking the proper decisions and can be also explained in case that it's needed. So I think when the AI outcome, it's proof to be trusted, then the transition happens and we will be able to use only AI models. If you ask me how long that will take, my personal opinion, that will still take up to 2 years for such implementation to be rolled out in production.
And there is a lot of hype around AI. And from a regulatory and compliance standpoint, where business should be careful and when they should bet on?
I think the business team in a bank would like to apply the AI models because they are faster, while the risk departments in the bank, they need to make sure that the decision is actually taken within that risk appetite and following the credit risk standards and the credit risk framework of the bank. So I do see that there will be a time where in certain areas AI will be deployed faster, in other a little bit slow. One example that comes to my mind, for example, as you nominated at the very beginning, the data analysis could be eventually one of that use case where AI implementation will help to scrub the data, to analyze the data quality, and accelerate the process of developing a model. As we speak, 30% from usually a model takes between 10 and 12 weeks to be developed. 30% goes literally just in cleaning the data, making sure that the data is in the shape that is required for then developing the model. So applying AI, I think we can get rid of that 30% and get the data in much faster, ready to be used for the model development itself.
And do you see a future where we'll be, you already mentioned it, but would like to go to dive a little deeper into a fully automated credit decision making into credit or organization? Do you think it's going to be possible near?
Yes, yes, I think we will be getting there as we speak. Even here in UAE, we have a couple of digital banks. They do not have any branches, and the entire journey from applying even for a current account to getting a credit card or a personal loan, it's digital, and the banks usually respond in within 1 hour if that application was approved or rejected. There are circumstances, of course, where the decision is not taken within 30 minutes or 1 hour. But I personally help one of the financial institutions here to increase that approval rate. And because there is so much competition in the country, as you might know, we have 60 plus financial organizations for a population that it's increasing day by day. As we speak, we have every day 1,000 people landing here in UAE. But still, there is a lot of competition, which means that you need to respond very fast to that potential customer if you accept it or not, being that for, again, a credit card, a personal loan, a mortgage, or even just a current account. So I do see the future. I also see a change in customer acceptance. 2 years back, I was in a conference and I was speaking about AI in credit approval, and someone from the audience said, if I would knew that the bank will use an AI model to approve or reject my application, I would not even apply to that bank, because I just can't trust that an AI model will decide if I get or not that mortgage. And that was 2 years ago. Today, when I speak with people at conferences or even with my stakeholders that are chief risk officers, head of risk, everyone is open. Everyone thinks that actually that decision soon will be even better than the traditional way of taking the approval decision.
So do you think we have passed that initial scare phase of innovative tech solution. We are now embracing, we are in that phase where already we have seen the value of the potential of the technology, and we are now embracing it into organization. This is what you mean, right?
Yes, I do see it. And I think that the comfort came also from different initiatives, such as making sure that the AI implementation are again transparent, that they are easy, explainable. There are many organizations worldwide that are setting up AI policies, some governments that they went for AI implementation at government level, writing policies or even law at country level. So people are getting the comfort that we are actually learning as we are going, and it's not something new. Usually as human beings, we are scared about that change or about something that is new. But as we speak, AI is not new anymore.
Mm-mm. And what do you think are the implication for society of that fully automated AI decision making? Have you explored yeah, the consequence that that can drive from both from economic perspective, but also from a more job growth perspective as well. Do you think there is going to be a lot of job loss into the economy during this new phase of fully automated decision making, or do you think we will adapt fast enough? What's your point on that?
So in my space, again, speaking about credit risk models, the development of these models, the validation, the frameworks that they have to be set up in a financial institution, policies and so on, I think jobs will not be lost at all. I believe that people that often in these roles are very smart people will just get the time to do what they were supposed to do, and not cleaning data 30% of that 12 weeks framework to develop a model, but rather getting into developing the model and having the time enough to analyze the assumptions, to analyze the outcome, to eventually, with the spread time that was lost, in my opinion, in that 30% cleaning, put that time in proper analysis, deeper discussion, conversation with the other departments. So I truly believe that it's actually a positive move where people will also personally feel empowered that they are doing and having the right job. And you can imagine the frustration of a person that study uh, MBAs and really high degrees to stay in front of a computer and actually 30% of that 12 weeks just look to fix the data set, which it's definitely not, what you want to do when you are 35, 40 years old. But it's part of the journey. So often that will go in the journey of model development. Is not that you will ask a more junior resource, do this piece, and then once it's clean, I will take it further. Would be the same senior person that would do also that job that definitely now can be spread.
And Nicoleta, from an operational perspective, we are really interested AI business transformation to understand how businesses are changing the way of operating internally using AI, and what advice will you also give to entrepreneur or businesses that they are adopting this new technology to be more efficient, faster, more productive? Are you seeing a lot of adoption internally into the operational side of the business?
Yes, you are right. I think, of course, depends on the industry and depends on the size. Depends also on the jurisdiction, because often even available AI tools that might not be even expensive um, are not easy to be deployed or used by the employees because they are breaching some IT security policies, as you know. So not all the companies will enable all the available AI tools, though they will definitely bring benefits and from operational perspective will reduce cost. So I believe here in UAE, as most of the companies will not allow the data to leave the UAE space, and you need even the cloud to be hosted in UAE. That I don't want to call it a barrier, but it's a rule or something that you have to keep in mind, that whatever AI implementation you will develop, either your own infrastructure has to host it, or a cloud that is locally available has to host that AI implementation, and the organization should enable the access to it. So with the banks, of course, tier one banks and large banks here in the Middle East can afford to have a specific cloud just for AI implementation, or their infrastructure to be set up in order to embrace that. Smaller organization might not. So this is where we will also see that bigger player will actually be ahead of the smaller organization, just because the infrastructure cost and also this regulation has to be respected.
Wow, that is incredible. So UAE bank organization, they require to have even the cloud to be hosted into the UAE?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's so. Are you just having local provider then? So you're not using any international like Microsoft or
Well,
AWS?
they will have their local cloud. They do have it.
Ah,
They do
okay. They have their own, yeah, local. Ah, okay. Yeah,
local,
yeah.
yes, yes. But if we speak about, you know, an application that, like the one that I was nominating earlier, where the chief risk officer of a bank would just come in the morning and will have an AI implementation ready to be used for querying a policy because he does not remember by memory, or he wants a quick review of what's his total exposure of a certain segment of or a certain type of clients he has in the bank. And he could literally have an application AI background developed for him to use, but that application has to be either installed in the premises of the bank, or the cloud that it's hosting has to be deployed in UAE itself.
Thanks, Nicoleta. And talking about your personal career, what is keep you pushing to drive into your career in this high stake environment? What are the big motivation that you are driven by?
Well, I believe it's my humble background. I come from a very small village in Romania, though this Italian accent, because I studied and lived in Italy too long as as of now. So yes, eventually I grew up in a small village, and at the time, of course, credit risk and credit score was not something that I used to hear in my background. So when then I moved to Italy and I started to work there for the credit bureau of the country, and I wanted to apply for a mortgage for myself, I was in the situation where they told me you don't have a credit history, though you are working for the credit bureau. So, if you would not pay the mortgage, who else? Because you understand the implication of not paying your mortgage back to the bank. And I had to build up that credit history for myself by, buying a telco postpaid mobile phone and paying, I still remember, €9.99 at the time to make sure that it's paid in time, and I demonstrate to the telco provider that I'm a good customer. So eventually I really want that people or small entrepreneurs, founders are understanding how important it is to build that credit history for that moment when you need the credit, being that for a car loan because you have a small business and you need a car to run that, or even at personal level as a personal loan, a mortgage, a credit card. And building that credit history, it's not just a 6 month job. It could take some years, and not just building it, but then also how you maintain a good credit score, and how having a good credit score actually gives you benefits and gives you eventually better interest rates when you take the mortgage. And yeah, if I share my knowledge and at least one person will learn and will have benefits for it, that gives me a lot of satisfaction.
That's great and really inspiring. You have been mentioning more than once your the Benjamin Franklin motto: "Never leave that till tomorrow if you can do it today." What does that look like for your leadership style? How many hours a day you work?
Well, it's 7:30 p.m. As we speak here in UAE. I usually
Ah,
wake up at 5:30 in the morning. Um, I don't believe that the number of hours working, it's actually what shows the results that you are bringing. However, definitely putting effort brings results. Living by this motto and smiling, it's not easy because sometimes I I dislike myself of following that because I expect others to behave the same or to do the same like me. But I did learn in my career, and colleagues and clients will follow if they see that you are having the same style and you are coherent and you keep going as you used to go even 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And eventually, I believe that doing the things today means that tomorrow it's already a progress, and what yesterday has been, it's past. So maybe that's why I truly believe that whatever I can do today, I should do it today, because tomorrow it's another day and I already can do something else. Um, with my clients, I feel that they appreciate it because they will always have a prompt answer. Sometimes that comes at 5:30 in the morning or at 11 p.m. Actually, my signature says, please do not feel obliged to respond to my email because I might work out of working hours. Because if I, have an idea or I just remember I have not done something, then I will just respond in that moment. Again, I'm not saying that everyone should do the same and it's the best approach in life, but even I try to get rid of it, I cannot.
That's great. Thanks, Nicoleta. It's really inspiring. And to conclude our conversation, would be great to understand if you have some advice for the audience, entrepreneur, business leader, and also for women, as you have been leading in a historically known male-dominated field space. And so it would be great to know a bit of some practical advice while navigating this career path.
That's true. I work in historical men-dominated environment. Proud to say that not anymore, and I'm happy to say that here in UAE earlier, I work in Italy and I have seen the same. There are many women in financial industry and consultancy as well. I had a lot of men as my supporters, so I truly believe that there is always a balance and there is not such a thing as she's a woman or he's a man. It's just a stakeholder, it's a colleague, it's a client, and the gender doesn't really matter. To all the young women out there being founders, entrepreneurs, or working in corporate or consultancy like me, I believe they just have to forget about the gender and you just go and do your best. It's really important that you like what you do. And I truly believe that. I'm not just saying it. If you like what you do, you just wake in the morning and you keep going. And everyone will see it. Being that colleagues, line manager, clients, they will appreciate that you do it with passion and that you get to that results because you like what you do.
Yeah, completely agree with your point. So you can go through all the challenges because you still love it. You still creating. You want to create value on the marketplace, and this is one of my advice as well. I can give to people that through my journey, understanding the problem and what you can solve to people and to the world. So getting more in love for the problem itself, I think, is more important than the solution, because solution they will change. But if you are driven by solving a problem, it will keep your passion and driven in difficult time. So thanks, Nicoleta. Yeah, definitely. Let's organize in 6 months, a year time. So because AI is moving really fast, so we want to keep update and see how things are going. Thank you very much again.
Hi there, welcome to my channel. I'm Michael Coppola. I'm excited to have you here. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Together, let's explore the incredible potential of entrepreneurship, business innovation, and technology to take your ventures to the next level.